Episode 1, Encountering the Beginning. The universe is so old that we can't be sure about many facts of its beginning, but we can be sure of one thing. The universe had a beginning, meaning there was a time when there was no universe. We have this certainty both from the majestic Quran and from modern science. So, as a way of showing our gratitude for the beautiful details Allah Mighty and Majestic has provided for us from these sources, let's visit them and study them a bit in a unique way. Are you ready? Come with me on a little journey. Find a place in your room where you're listening, where you can be very comfortable, either sitting up or lying down, and close your eyes. And for a moment or two, feel from the inside all the places in your body that are against the chair or the floor or wherever you're sitting. Allow your breath to be slow and deep, in and out, and reflect that it has been turning on its own, in and out, ever since the moment of your birth, without you having to even think about it. I'd like you to listen carefully to my voice. Allah Mighty and Majestic has given us the extraordinary power of our imaginations, which allow us to experience things in a very unique and private way. You may feel like you can actually see the things I'm suggesting to you, or you might be the kind of person who feels as though you can hear them in a particular way, or perhaps you'll imagine yourself actually being in a new place. Whichever way is your way, all of it will be beneficial, because inshallah, you will return knowing new things. You will, by the permission of Allah Mighty and Majestic, and by making use of the capacities He's bestowed upon you, travel with me across the lovely green globe of Earth and off into space, and at the same time back through the moments, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, eons, and ages, back through time. Are you comfortable? Imagine that invisibly, without your body ever moving, imagine that you can float up from where you're sitting or lying. You float up slowly, just with your mind, and come closer and closer to a window, to the outside. Because you're moving just with your mind, the window is no problem for you, and you can float right through it, outside, into the morning freshness or the dark of night, you decide, and feel yourself floating up, up and away, leaving the houses and buildings behind you, floating higher and higher until the trees are all tiny little plants and the streets and roads and highways are like little ribbons spread out on the ground and the cars are the size of small peas. Keep floating up and out through the clouds until you look back and see that you have left planet Earth behind and now see it from a distance, turning and glistening with its greens and blues out in space. Now you'll float on beyond, back in time now as well as in space, back and back through the past, through vast expanses of silent darkness, past planets and suns, past moons, beyond orbits, through galaxies, going back and back before the time that the universe had been created, when there was no universe. There were no suns, no moons, no planets, no stars, no galaxies, no supernovas. There was nothing. Nothing to be seen, nothing to be heard, nothing to be touched. There was only Allah, unseen, eternal power. Allah, mighty and majestic. Settle yourself into that nothingness. Settle yourself into his cherishing, into the incredible deep black silence. Float in the nothingness, in stillness and gratitude. Be grateful for the beauty he is creating. Be grateful that he is creating you, dividing your very cells, pumping your blood through thousands of miles of arteries and veins, capillaries, filling your lungs with life-giving oxygen and emptying it of unneeded carbon dioxide, and showing you this new way to appreciate him. Subhanallah. Now, into that darkness, a vast, beautiful, shimmering light suddenly appears. Just hover there now, floating in the emptiness, in the time before everything, and reflect on that light, spreading out so beautifully in the darkness. See it and feel it. Breathe it in. Allow it to fill you. Time is passing, but you scarcely notice it. Qadi Iyad, in his book Ash-Shifa, narrated from Abdullah ibn Abbas that this original light is the light of Prophet Muhammad. May Allah bless him and give him peace. He said it was created 2,000 years before the creation of the world. Allahu alam. Now, imagine a tiny speck, so tiny that it doesn't even have any space inside it. From this minuscule spot comes a massive explosion, and suddenly all around you are particles and mists of chemicals, dust clouds and swirls of unknown substances. See all of these things around you racing away from you and from each other. As you watch, more and more particles, mists, clouds, and swirls are still emerging from the speck, filling the space around you. And from Surah Al-Anbiya, Surah 21, Ayat 30, we hear, are then they who are bent on denying the truth, are they not aware that the heavens and the earth were once one single entity, which we then parted asunder, and now it's time for you to go home. Look around again at the lovely light, at all the swirling particles and clouds and substances, and say goodbye. When you're ready, allow yourself to begin floating forward again. You are moving forward in space, but you're also moving forward in time. You see that the particles, mists, clouds, and swirls are forming themselves into huge galaxies, supernovas, planets, moons and suns and stars. You are racing past and through them, racing to return to this time we are in now. Look, there's planet Earth just ahead. It, too, and everything on it, has formed from the clouds and swirls and particles and dust exploding from that zero-volume speck, the Ratki'an, over thousands of years. As you draw closer and closer, the details of the forests and the oceans, the mountains and the deserts become more clear, and suddenly you feel yourself racing over the land. You see the rolling hills and the rivers stretching out and below, and you see once again the buildings and houses, the ribbon roads and the cars like peas on them, and you pop through the window of the room you've been listening in and find yourself nestled comfortably, feeling all the surfaces of the chair or the floor that is supporting you. And what you have left behind is still there, still happening, and very real. Can you see the honoring Allah has for us, what He is giving us? This life of ours is no accident. This is no mindless evolution from mud.